Let's look into the numbers because they say everything. And again, I am a big fan of the numbers and the statistics and the science. If you can prove it by the numbers, then it's true. Everything else is opinion and conjecture. And let's look at these numbers. And you can see from this graph on screen, the number of knife crimes recorded in London from 2010 to 2020. And if you look at this bar chart, you can see as we go from 2011 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15, knife crime is going down. From 14,000 cases to 11,000 cases, down to 10,000 cases, down to less than 10,000 cases. And right around when our current mayor is elected, you see them jump to 12,000 cases, 14,000 cases, and this year now topping over 15,000 knife crime cases in this city. There it is. In black and white, the numbers don't lie. And this report goes on to say, quote, "It is undeniable that the cuts in both police funding and officer numbers are important factors." But the problem with this is that it's not just numbers. These are real human beings. They're actually teenagers that are dying in our streets every single week. And I want to show some of their names. So this is an article that was published in The Sun this year. And it goes on to say, lawless London, London stabbings, the latest news on knife crime, attacks, and statistics. And I want to talk to you about some of the victims because these are real people. These are children that belong to families. They have mothers, they have fathers. On January 27th this year, Lewis Johnson, who was 16 years old, was stabbed in front of shocked commuters during evening rush hour at East Croydon Station in southeast London. Less than 2 weeks later, on February 5th, a 19-year-old boy was stabbed in a knife fight on Kingsley Road in Hounslow in West London. Met Police confirmed a man in his early 20s and a 15-year-old boy were arrested on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Teenage on teenage violence. It's unacceptable. On the same day, February 5th, a horrified dock walker discovered 15-year-old Babakar Diagne stabbed to death on grassland in Coventry. And on February 5th, the 16-year-old victim was rushed to hospital after being stabbed in broad daylight in upmarket Highgates. Those are 3 teenage stabbing deaths in the same day on February 5th of this year. And the article goes on to say this, quote, "London's knife crime explosion has fueled the capital's highest murder rate in more than a decade." It goes on to say, quote, 10 people on average are caught with blades every day in the streets of London. Every day, 10 people are caught with blades. How many more are carrying them? And politician Rakia Ismail, who was formerly of the Labour Party, the same party of the current mayor of London, accused our current mayor of, quote, failing to take action against knife crime, which she said has risen to, quote, by, quote, 34% since he took office in 2016. Our current mayor's own members of his party are calling him up on his poor performance on knife crime. This is a real topic, and these are real teenagers dying in the streets. And you can't point the finger when teenagers are killing teenagers. You have to look at what the society is doing. How are we failing these young kids when they are killing each other with knives right in front of us on the streets of our city that we love? It's unacceptable. And we have to think about what our leaders are doing, what our police officers are doing, what are our policies, and what are our priorities. And that's why, as your next mayor of London, this is going to be very high on my list as one of the first things I do on May 7th.